We are now live. Good day, mate. It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play so that you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and my patrons, Doug Jones, Joshua and Caleb Slinkard, Tom Brotherman, Jeff Arbaugh, Deborah Burris, Joshua Johnson, Nick Hubbard. Yes, I know this list is long. Just hang with me. Andrew Tiepkin, Cecilia Perez, Sydney Sawyer, Valena Mahar, and my new patrons, Jane Jewell, Dano Pugach, and the Memphis Mafia. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocachetalk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins, and maybe a holiday gift coming up, and other geocaching swag during the year, as well as invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. Well, we have some news about the Podcast of Hope next week. So let's jump right into show number 25 for Sunday, November 27th, or Monday, November 28th, depending on where you are in this wonderful world of ours, as I welcome my friend Craig Michell, a.k.a. C. Michell, to the show. Welcome to Geocache Talk, Craig.
Thanks, Gary. How are you?
Good. Doing well. I'm glad this worked out. And, when I first thought about wanting to have you on the show, I was like, I wonder what time I have to have the show so that Craig can be on the show. But this kind of worked out. So just to let people know that are in the States, what time is it your time right now?
1 p.m. on Monday today.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
Wonderful. It worked out great. And we have some Aussies in the chat room. So hopefully, we have some other Aussies that are watching live. If not, of course, they can catch it later on. But just so glad that they were able also to be on the show. But so let's start. I'm going to mention a couple things about next week, and then we'll get right into tonight's topic. But next Sunday, starting at 4 p.m. and running till midnight, we're doing what I'm calling the Podcast of Hope with a bunch of it's an all-star lineup, and we're raising money for St. Jude's fighting childhood cancer. And so I want to mention a few people are going to be on the show, and I've got a new update on the people that are going to be on that show for the different hours. So Sarah Murphy's going to be on from Ireland on the 4 p.m. But it's interesting is I'm going to have on with her Josh and Liz, which is a.k.a. Peanuts or Pretzels. They just got back to the States. They've been in Asia for a couple of years now, I think. We'll get an update from them during that show. But we're going to talk about holidays in Ireland and holidays in Asia and kind of talk a little bit about that. Then 5 p.m., I've got Best Holiday Gadgets. And, of course, to do that, I had to get a gearhead. So I've got Daryl Wattenberg. Daryl W4 will be on the show for that, which will be just a lot of fun having him on the show talking about gadgets. He's a gadget guy, so it works out. Deborah Burris will be on with me for the Holidays on the Farm. 6 p.m., 7 p.m. We're going to talk about about hosting geocaching holiday events with also Doc Firewoman and also Memphis Mafia will be on the show. Jesse and Christy Lunsford will be on during the 7 p.m. hour. 8 p.m. we're talking about winter geocaching with some of my favorite winter people that live up in the north. Joshua Johnson, the geocaching vlogger, will be on, and also Sydney Sawyer, aka Shermaneer 18. They live up in the north there, Craig. Down here we don't get any. Down in Texas we don't usually get any snow, but Joshua's in Minnesota and Sydney's in New York, so a lot of snow for those people. And then 9 p.m. We're talking about geocaching gifts, not gifts like the geo. We are going to talk about gift tonight, but not that kind of gift. Anyway, with Jeff Arbaugh, Antaeus and Sydney will stay on for that hour as well. Then at 10 p.m., holiday movies. I'm having on my wife, be her first official time on the show. She'll be on talking about the holiday movies, and also Jim, Mr. Wit's End, will be on. And then at 11 p.m., we're going to do New Year's resolutions in geocaching, geocaching style, with myself. Memphis Mafia is going to come back on for that hour. Also, Jim Wit's End will be on. So anyway, that's kind of a breakdown. And then I also want to mention real quick before we get into the show proper that I'm going to do a giveaway next week. And it's a prize pack. I showed this a little bit to Craig before the show, but I'm going to go through all the little items. And basically, if you tweet about hashtag Podcast of Hope during the week, at least once a day, then you will be entered. Each day you get another entry, so you can get multiple entries during the week. But tweet that out and let people know about the Podcast of Hope. And if you are selected randomly at the end of that week, you will get the following prize pack. You get y'all call these are bison tubes down in Australia.
Yeah, bison tubes, yep.
Okay. Bison tube. I've got a path tag from Geo Woodstock. Let's show that very well there, but let me try. It's still in its package, so I don't want to. Anyway, there we go. It's kind of upside down, but there's the Geo Woodstock path tag, all part of the prize pack. I've got one of my own from the Geocache Talk podcast here. I've got one of those to give away with it. There it is. I also have a little card that I got from IB Geocaching Supplies and Store. They're one of my sponsors, but they give me a bunch of these cards. This is kind of cool, Craig. This is you put this in with your travel bug. Like if you put it in a little baggie with the travel bug, you can put this in there. And this little card tells you that it's not it's a trackable. It's not a trade item, and tells you about. Yes. That's kind of a cool idea. So I've got some of those, and on the back it's got a little. You can kind of explain more about your card and the mission. Instead of just writing on a piece of paper, you can kind of use this card. So that's in the prize pack. Yeah. Then I've got a patch from Geo Woodstock. I've got a couple of those extras, so I'm giving one of those away from Geo Woodstock last year. And then the big prize, Craig. This one here. This thing's bulky. It's very, very heavy. But I got one of the Geo Woodstock coins. I'm giving away one of those. So
that's a nice coin.
It is, isn't it? It's bulky as anything. I mean, it's huge. Look at it, compared to a hand. I mean, look at it's big. I mean, it's a large coin. Well, look at it compared to like the size of a path tag. Here's a path tag, and then versus the size of look at how small the path tag is compared to the coin. I mean, it's a monster coin. So Geo coin. So anyway, all right. Enough about that. That's the prize pack we're gonna give away. But enough of that. We're going to talk now to Craig Michell, a.k.a. C. Michell. And Craig and I learned, Craig, about you, I think, through vlogging, but also through Twitter. I think, Twitter's kind of cool, either through one of the geocaching hours or, but also your vlog. I really love your videos, and we're going to show a couple videos and talk a little bit through them in a minute. But let's kind of go back. We're going to go back a little ways in Craig's life here. We're going to talk about your very first, or how you learned about geocaching. So tell us a little about how that happened.
It's quite funny, actually. A friend of mine who was a muggle and is still a muggle found out through her sister. Made a phone call to me and said, look, you might be keen and interested in this, and with your kids. I downloaded it on the phone straight away, and straight away I was hooked. Around the park, around the corner. So I ran down. I said, I'll call you back. Ran down and had a look, and there it was. It was a good size too, like it was a regular size. Yeah. But it had later on. It had a Geo coin in it.
Right now, Geo coin.
A Geo coin, yeah.
Yeah, Geo coin, a good size one, right?
a good size geo coin, and it had like this little flicking thing in the middle of it. It was a great coin. So I thought, that's great. I'll grab it. And I thought, I've got to put something in with it because I read a little bit about it. So I went back to the car, or went back to the house, sorry, grabbed one of the kids' toys, went and put it in and grabbed that one out. And then afterwards, I got back home and I looked at it, I saw it says this is trackable. And I thought, with GPS signals and whatever else as well, I thought, maybe this is how they know where the GPS is for the actual cache, like a movable cache.
Which is
so I went and put it back. I went and put it back because I thought I was too scared.
Right.
And it wasn't 2 weeks later, after finding out all more about it, I went and actually grabbed it then and moved it on its way. So it was great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's quite funny.
Such a great story.
Yep.
Just neat how you got started. And that was roughly, when was that? What year was that? Do you remember?
That was, I think it was, what's the year now? It was January 14.
Okay.
It was January 2014. So just, a
couple years ago
now. Yeah, nearly 3 years ago.
Okay, almost 3 years. Coming up on 3 years. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, you said you had geocached some with your kids, and your kids kind of don't geocache as much now, or they don't really geocache?
Well, I only have my kids sort of every second weekend as part of that sort of thing. So so they sort of cache because I'm on a caching streak still.
That's
so
right.
They've got a cache with them, and I've got them.
That's awesome. So
So
sometimes you geocache with them, but other times, who are you going out geocaching with? And I guess let me back up too. Is what part of Australia do you live in, and then tell me kind of who you tend to go out with geocaching.
Yeah, well, I live in Sydney, or just south of Sydney in Australia, in a place called the Sutherland Shire, and there's actually a group of people in the Sutherland Shire that sort of make up a group called we like to call ourselves the Socks and Sandals group. So they're the ones that help me with the GIF as well. So you Brewmaker, Aries 44, Pipes Down Under, and Mr. Hancock, the Hancock clan. So we go out with them quite often. So we're always in a group chat together on Facebook, and what are you doing tomorrow? Oh, what about this and what about that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. You've always got to phone a friend handy too.
That's true. Yeah, those are key sometimes to have. Is those that you can phone a friend. I mean, you really that can be invaluable at times. So, very cool.
Actually, there's a great trip we went out. I was going to say, sorry. There's a great trip we went to in Canberra.
Oh, okay.
And it was a 3 days, 2 nights camping trip in Canberra, and it's actually a geo art. And you know what geo art is? Well, it obviously makes up the whatever the picture is. Well, this is a big kangaroo.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And it's in a pine forest, but this kangaroo is actually, I think there's 95 of them, and out of which 90 are actual traditionals.
Oh wow!
So they're traditionals. They're not puzzles, and then you find them later.
Yeah,
he's actually put them in the exact shape.
He was able to put that many in a shape. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's huge. It took us 3 days, and it was just it was epic. I've got a video on my YouTube channel.
Okay, cool. Well, what I'll do is is that the one you put in here?
Yeah, that's the
okay. That's that's the link you got. Okay, so we have a link in there.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So there's a link to that YouTube video. So that's perfect. Yeah. 3 days, 63 miles. I like how you converted it for me. I appreciate that.
Of course.
On mountain bikes. So I don't have to do meters. That's cool. 97 total geocaches, most traditional. That's just incredible. That's what a cool trip. Well, where are some places that geocaching has taken you in Australia, and then you recently got back from New Zealand too. So, but what are some places that come to mind when you think about where geocaching has been able to take you?
Well, obviously it takes you to places where no one normally goes, especially even tourists don't go. Right. And so, I've just come back from New Zealand. That was great over there. It was a great trip. I did 1 week around the North Island and 1 week around the South Island as well.
Oh, that is awesome. You got to do both.
Yeah, Cool. If anyone's going to do a trip to New Zealand, we spent 2 weeks, but I could have easily spent a month there. Like, it was fantastic. And the South Island is beautiful. It's gorgeous. So that was fantastic. Yeah. But a little story again, that Muggle friend that I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
After I found out about geocaching, I went up and visited her up in Port Macquarie. It's probably about a 3-4 hour drive from me. And she went away working one day, and I went out geocaching. And then when we come back from work, she said, "How was your day?" So I then talked to her about the places I've been to, of which there was a couple there she'd never even heard of, and she lived there the whole life. So
incredible.
You know, like different locations. And I know I took her to locations. She's like, "I've never seen this place before. This is fantastic." So
you live here.
So yeah,
that's you know about this.
Exactly. And then I showed her the reason why. Obviously, there's a little bolt in the bridge, and she's like, "Oh wow!"
Those are awesome. Yeah,
I'm only here for the bolt. I'm not here for the view.
Well, but for both. Yeah, that's true. There's all, that's the neat thing about geocaching is sometimes you end up in places that are not on the map. We talked about that a little bit last week, or I've mentioned about the story about trying to find the Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, where the borders all come together, and it's down a dirt road. There's no sign. There's nothing, but it's just a cool. You go out and you go down there. There's a monument, and it's just kind of a neat area. And like, why don't they put a sign to go down here? But it works out perfect because that's where virtual was located. So very cool.
Yeah.
So Frank Freezer says he's in the
That's Pipes Down Under.
Oh, okay. He said it was a fun 3 days. So
yeah, that's Pipes Down Under. He joined us for the big trip.
Oh, that's awesome. And Johnny Cash is also in the in it. He says he loves the stash. So
that's for November. It's coming off in 4 days' time.
Oh, he's gonna cut it off. Oh,
yeah.
Looks great though.
It's a fundraiser we do here. Do you have November in?
We do.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. Yeah.
That's great.
So that's all cool.
I appreciate you doing that. But yeah, so I try to get Johnny turned on to podcasts, as we talked about before the show. So Johnny, this is the podcast for you, buddy. So, all right. Off of the chat room for the moment. We'll come back to them a little bit. So, what is it that you? This is sort of a loaded question, and we've only got so much time tonight, Craig. So let's not go into too much detail. But what is it that you like about geocaching? I know you or what you love about geocaching.
Well, it's quite hard. It's a hard question.
It is.
If you're really thinking about it.
Yeah.
But because on one hand you've got the people that you meet, for instance. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have met you, for instance. I wouldn't have met so many other people that I now class as very good friends through geocaching. So you've got that on one hand, but then on the other hand, secretly I actually like going out there by myself. Believe it or not. It's the serenity, especially in the Aussie bush. All you hear is the crickets and the birds and the crackle of the bush, and it's very therapeutic. Let alone once you're actually honing in, looking for that cache, you're not thinking about all your worries and your woes of your normal life.
Right.
All you're thinking about is, I want to find this cache. So it's like a meditation sort of thing.
It is. That's a really good way to put it, because you really do, and I think that's what also I'm trying to capture that thought too, and I'm trying to tell people about when you go out with a group, maybe people that you don't get to see that often, but you get to go out and you're going to go find some geocaches, and there's something magic about the fellowship of being with some people. You don't get to see them that often, but you get to see them again, and you're going after a goal of finding caches. You're forgetting, you've got like a mission. You're, like you said, you're forgetting all about the world, and you're just focusing together. And when you find one, you can have some fun with it. We usually do what's called hucklebuckle, which is where there's different ways people do it. But if you're in a little group, if somebody spots it, they walk away from it and start announcing that they see the cache. Everybody's like, I don't see it. Where is it? I don't see it. And so they're looking. It's like, oh, yeah, I see it. Perfect. Can't you see it? Why can't you see it? So you kind of have fun with that whole thing. So yeah, that's really.
I do the same thing with my kids as well, and with that sort of thing, like that. You call it the hucklebuckle. It's basically, we call it the first to find. So it's our own little private first to find group. So if you find it, you walk away and you say, I found it. And then the last person to find it is like, tearing their hair out.
Exactly.
Well, everyone just watches and laughs.
Right. That's perfect. So what you've had a lot of cool experiences in either creating geocaches or going on them. What is one of your favorite experiences that come to mind?
So again, another hard question because there's so
I
many.
know. There are so
You
many.
get to do so many things, whether it be going to a different country just for the purpose of a mega. That's the only reason I went to New Zealand was for the mega this year.
Right.
Then you've got your milestones. You've got your focuses on your different goals that you want. I'm on a streak at the moment as well, 375 or something at the moment. So which is hopefully not going to end anytime soon. So we'll see. But
good.
So you got all those sort of things, but there was one milestone that I did for my 1,000 find, and it's in a disused train tunnel, and I was by myself again, one of those ones where you by yourself.
Yeah.
I actually periscoped just before I went in, and then I dropped the phone and everything before, and to end the periscope, so it looked like I've been taken into this tunnel. It's
That's
quite
awesome.
funny.
That's great.
But walked into this tunnel, and I think it's about just over a mile into the tunnel where the cache is, and it's pitch black. So you've got to have a torchlight. I only had my phone light, and I had a little headlamp. That was it. And in the middle of the tunnel, there's an old bit of railway machinery, and the cache was in that. The cache was on that. So and it's a good sized container, So
okay, good.
1,000 fine.
I was worried it wasn't a nano or anything.
No.
Go all that way.
You couldn't have a nano in there. A black nano on a black machinery in the blackness. No.
Jeez. So that's good. So it's good size. That's good.
Yeah, it was a good size. But I went out of the tunnel, and you get your heebie-jeebies a little bit, like you get those. We call it like goosebumps or chicken skin.
Goosebumps. Yeah.
And goosebumps. Yeah. So I went out, and then about I think it was 3 or 4 days later, I was watching the news, and the local ghost tour company have recorded that tunnel as being the most haunted tunnel in the area. And even now, like, I'm starting to get the goosebumps now just thinking about it again. And I was in there by myself, like with the torchlight and an iPhone, just for the purpose of a cache. So
probably a good thing you did. Probably a good thing you didn't know about it until after you'd went in and come out. So
yes, exactly.
That is
that
awesome.
Made it worse, I think.
Yeah. And then we're gonna show some videos here in a moment. But what is it that you do to let everybody know? What is it that you do when you're not geocaching, other than think about geocaching when you're not geocaching?
Well, I don't think there's any time at all that I don't actually think about geocaching. Even when I'm at work, I'm a police officer in Sydney.
Thank you so much.
Even when I'm at work, I still think about geocaching around town. I look at it and go, oh, that's a good spot over there, and then I have a look. Is there one available for that area? And I've placed a couple in there. For that purpose, and I actually seen people find the geocaches as I'm driving past, going, "Oh, I know what you're doing." But yeah, apart from that, I do a bit of acting stuff as well, so a bit of TV work.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so that's pretty cool. So, but that's all I pretty much do outside of it. But I think the TV work helps me a little bit when I do all my camera and my vlogging and stuff as well. So
no, that is great.
Yeah,
and you dance. We're gonna have you dance sometime on the show. So
yes.
I've
danced since I was 3.
Have you really?
I've danced since I was 3. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm a dancer by trade, so to speak.
That's awesome. A dancer by trade. Well, do you play an instrument of any kind, or no? Just
no,
dancing?
Unfortunately, and I can't sing. For a singer, I'm a great dancer. So.
Well, that's all right. Dancing and acting, that's sweet. I love it.
That's it.
Well, so we're gonna go. Let me check chat room real quick. So, with Johnny Cashin, Johnny sings. So when you get the two of you guys together, so Johnny can play the guitar and sing, and you can dance, and y'all can do a video together. I think that really is. We need to have that happen. So, Ron, you need to get down with Craig and do a video down in Australia. So
no, I'll come up. Sponsor
me.
I'll come up.
Oh yeah, you need to come on up. Yes, absolutely. We definitely. Wow, we're gonna have Craig loose in the States. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna talk about Let's share my screen here. So, all right. So we're gonna talk first about this. I'm gonna turn the sound down on it. Other people will hear the sound, but you're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a little bit about this little clip that you did. Tell us before we get started. How did this clip come about that you did on this show?
Well, that's through a Facebook group that I'm a member of as well, down the Illawarra, and
Okay.
and they contacted the Facebook group, Geocaching Facebook group, this TV company, because they were
Yep.
doing a segment on geocaching and wanted someone to sort of help them and spruik them through it, sort of thing. So yeah, I was contacted via that, and been into talks with them and asked them what they wanted, and then went through it from there. But I showed them four type hide types.
I know. I'm glad, and they showed all. They have all of them on this segment, which is cool. There you are.
Oh yes. Oh, with my Cashly shirt. Look at that.
I know. I mean, we're Cashly. Love Cashly. Yes.
Cashly is the best.
Should have worn my Cashly shirt. I have one too, fortunately, but so
it's not the best fitting shirt for me, but anyway.
yeah, it worked great.
Yeah. So so this is Nathan. He was the host of the show itself. So I was basically talking to him about how we go about finding a geocache and what geocaching is about. And we actually went straight to one of the local ones, which is actually a quite difficult cache. This one here, I had to get permission off all the COs for them.
Sure. Because we can skip it if we need to. Yeah.
It's quite a difficult cache. This one. This is it's similar to a bolt style cache, but it's a bit nautical themed. So
yeah. Well, we can skip ahead. We don't have to show it, but he's searching for it. He seemed like a good guy as far as he seemed genuinely interested in.
Oh, he was. He wasn't doing it just for the show.
Let me back up
just for the show.
Yeah, he really did. He.
Yeah.
This is such a great.
This is the best view. This is a cache put up by the rats. So we walk out into this, and again, no one ever goes here apart from geocaches. And you put you out under the middle of a cliff, which then shows you the outlook of the whole Illawarra area. And the rats have placed the cache down the cliff face, but it's chained to the tree. Right. So you can actually it's not a T5 then, you see. So but you still get the great views.
Oh, what a great
obviously it's an ammo can. Hello, who doesn't want an ammo can?
Exactly. Gotta love an ammo can.
That was that one. That's fantastic views of the Illawarra there.
Yeah.
And the ammo can was full too, full to the brim of swag.
I know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump ahead. Oh, let me back up a little bit. All right.
Oh, so this one's actually one of my caches. This one.
Oh, very cool.
Is part of the jamboree, and it's a birdhouse sort of style. But a lot of people, we don't have a lot of birdhouse styles over here, and the reason why I started doing the birdhouse style was through watching videos like from WV Tim and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it was just a birdhouse, lockable birdhouse cache, and you had to obviously get the combination from the cache page. And yeah, that was it. And then what happens is if you unclick it too fast, the whole cache and contents falls out the bottom. See?
That's okay. He was quick to find it, or quick to grab it. So
he was.
It's good.
But, he liked that one. He enjoyed that one.
Yeah, you can tell he genuinely enjoyed that one.
Yeah. And then the last one is actually a hide by Aries 44. And it's again part of the Jamboree series. And this time though, I just let him go. I said, "No, here's the phone. Away you go." And I'll watch you do it now. So once he was in an area, put the phone down and then search along. So he searched for a little while.
I was gonna say, how long he searched? How did he search for a while?
He searched for about 5 minutes. He searched about 5 minutes. He went all the way around. He's looking everywhere. And then when he finally found it, that look on his face is priceless.
I know. He got a little dance too.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was happy with that.
That's
Again,
awesome.
though, good size cache too for a newbie, like for a muggle.
Yeah.
If you're going to show people what geocaching is about, don't take them to the little little bison tubes or the nanos. Take them to somewhere with a decent sized cache that you know about already. So if they don't pick it up, you can kind of give hints to where it is.
Right.
Because the last thing you want to do is DNF a cache with a newbie.
No, that's true. That is very true. And this was like I said, this is a great one for a first time. Because it really is. I mean, a camoed pill bottle in a tree we all love it just because it's geocaching, but yet,
Mhm.
to get a muggle, a person you're going to convert from being a muggle, something like
Yep.
this is a great cache to take them to.
Yes. Yes.
So,
It's
all
a
right.
good little hide, sneaky, and it's good size.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right.
Yep.
Well, let's talk now about this one here.
Ah.
This is your GIF entry for
Yes.
2016.
Mhm.
Now, for those that aren't familiar with the Geocaching International Film Festival, it's been running now for, I think it's now 4 years, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Yeah. Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, won the first year. His video, of course, is still out there. This year, great bunch of people who entered and who were picked as finalists. And Craig was picked as a finalist this year.
Yes.
So good for you. I sent one in, and I had a great time doing it. Wasn't selected, but that's okay. I had fun doing it. But you got picked, and so
Yeah.
this is the video. And I like what you did at the beginning of this video because you've added in some different people. Here's Bay Area Knitter is
Yeah.
on. You got her to do a little intro video, which I really appreciate you doing that. She's fairly new to geocaching, and so and vlogging and stuff. There's Nosy Nell
From New Zealand. Yep.
from New Zealand. So
Yep.
it's always fun to hear her, interact with her on Twitter some. There's Doc Firewoman in Arkansas with her horses.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of local vloggers, well, not local, but known vloggers that gave me a bit of a shout out, which was great.
Yeah, it's
So,
coming up.
I used this because I hosted a GIF event as well.
Right.
So I used these as the start of the actual GIF event that I hosted. So and here he is.
There's Johnny.
There he is, the man himself.
Smith. That's right.
One of the best geocaching names I've ever heard, actually, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, there's Sunny and Sandy.
Yeah. Podcasters and give a little bit of a congrats as well, which is good.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
we
got to hang out some with them in Denver. Our table was right next to theirs, and so we had a good time with them. And there's some of your people.
Oh yeah, so you've got Aries 44 next to me, then Pipes Down Under, and Mr. Hancock from the Hancock clan.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then up in the corner comes little Brewmaker. he couldn't make the filming of this one, the one I just did here. So he was away at the time, so I got him to get a little wave to me.
so they're the ones that helped you with this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Very cool.
So the idea of this video itself came about a real life story of this. So the actual cache, the geocache, is a real life geocache. It's a geocache put out there by Mr. Hancock from the Hancock clan.
Cool.
And I was racing Pipes Down Under for the FTF on this one.
So this is a true. It's like a reenactment.
True story. Pretty much, almost a reenactment, except I wasn't wearing pajamas at the time.
Well,
Brewmaker did a great job with the video too. Like,
don't tell me.
I was going to say he's now enacted a manager as well, and wants royalties and commissions. But anyway.
Oh, does he really? That's awesome.
No, I'm joking. But
okay.
But yeah, the FTF that I got, I ran down exactly this path that you see here in the video.
Right, wearing pajamas.
And,
no.
Yeah, I wasn't wearing pajamas at the time. I was just wearing like normal long pants and the long shirt. It was winter too at the time. And I looked across just like this, exactly the same. And I thought, how am I going to get across there? Now, there's a guy sitting on that rock. And I asked him, I said, look, how am I going to get across to that pole that's over there? Because you can see where it is. It's a pole in the middle of the beach area.
Right.
And he says, you have to go all the way around the other side. And I said, well, can't I just get across this lake? And he goes, yeah. He says, yeah, no worries. He says, you can swim. I said, how deep is it? He says, it's probably, just have it, chest height. I'm like, that's all right. So I stripped off to my undies, my underwear. And he said to me, he goes...
Which you really did. You really stripped
Yeah,
down
we
to undies.
did.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
stripped down the undies, jumped in, and he said to me, he goes, "What do you need to go to that pole for anyway?" And I thought, I said, I'm in a race with another guy. I said, the first one there gets a free beer for the other guy. And he looked at me and goes, "You must be thirsty." So
That's awesome. That's a great
so I did
line.
all this, went right across, went right up. And luckily for me, though, I'm quite a bit taller than little Brewmaker. And,
Sure.
and I managed to sort of shimmy up the pole a little bit with the help of a stick. And I grabbed the cache out. And, yeah, I was first to find on this one.
Because
but that's where the story sort of developed, really.
That's awesome. So so that pole is actually out there, and
yes,
somebody put a
that
cache in.
Cache is still there. There's a cache there still ready to be had and make a find on. Yes. So the idea of this here was just to give it a little bit of extra element of,
Oh, sure. Made it fun where you go grab the fishing pole and
exactly try and flick it up there. You can see how tall the pole is. It's actually quite tall.
Yeah, it is. It makes for a great
and then it was
cache.
It was a good idea then to pull him back, pull the old fisherman back, and
right.
To see two old men, one on top of the other like that in the middle of the beach was great.
Yeah. It's like y'all are crazy, but he found it.
Yeah.
You got it.
He found it, exactly. So he was all happy and excited that he found it. And then the whole idea then and the sort of the hook of the story is that when he looks at it, he wasn't the first to find, the fisherman was the first to find. So, and he was playing sort of,
I know.
Quiet.
I love it. Do you use a drone?
Yeah, the drone. Pipes Down Under owns that drone. And we
Sweet.
had such windy, bad conditions that day. And we weren't going to use the drone. I wasn't going to use the drone. And he said, no, we'll use it. I said, "You're sure?" Anyway, we nearly lost it 3 or 4 times, I think, like into the water.
No.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
that was Pipes Down Under with the drone. So everyone had a sort of bit to do with it, which is good. That
is awesome. Just awesome. Let me stop sharing so we can go back to the thing. So that's just neat stuff. A great idea really was to take an actual something that actually happened, and for you to kind of work it into a video, which I think was perfect.
Yeah, and I think going off real life stories and situations, it makes for the best viewing. I mean, you have a look at Cops, for instance, your TV show over there, Cops. Everyone watches it. That's been going for years. So real life or anything reality TV is great. So if it happens in real life, it's good. Right. Oh, I completely agree. We mentioned earlier, and we didn't really get to talk about it, but let's talk about it briefly. But you recently got back from, well, not too long ago. You went to New Zealand for their mega. So, and I know you said you cached both. Tell us a little bit more about that experience, and because had you ever been in New Zealand before? Well, New Zealand's also known as another state of Australia. Okay, well, I know it's close. So you've been close, but far away. Okay, so you've been in New Zealand before, but never for a mega, and never. No, well, the last time I was in New Zealand, I was 9 years old. So, oh wow, I hadn't actually been in my adult life, so it was great to get over there and actually appreciate New Zealand for what it is. So, very cool, gorgeous. Yeah. So I flew into the North Island, into Auckland, and then went up to Bay of Islands. It's called, which is a beautiful area. And that one there, we took a boat ride out amongst this thing called hole. It's called Hole in the Rock because there's a hole in the rock. Oh, what a great name! Yeah, I know, it's great. But there's a T5 Earth cache there. Oh wow! Wow! Hey, you can only do it on boat, so it's a T5. T5 Earth cache. That is awesome. Yeah. So we went out through there, and the big boat that we're in went to go through the hole. Like we actually went through the hole in the rock. Like it's a big hole, but they can't do it on sort of rocky days and stuff. But anyway. Did up there around Bay of Islands, beautiful place up there. Then came back down to Rotorua. Have you heard of that? Rotorua. That's the place where the mud falls. Okay. Yeah, so that's what my knowledge of New Zealand is based on all the Lord of the Rings movies. So. Oh yes. I know everything. I know everything in relation to where they filmed the different parts of Lord of the Rings. So anyway. Now, Rotorua is where it's got all the boiling mud and all
wow.
the volcanic sort of springs and whatnot there. So, and obviously I've vlogged it the whole time as well, and I'll be having snippet videos coming up shortly. But,
Cool.
So yeah, I went there, and then we went down to the Mega, which is at the Tarangi. So
Oh, neat.
that was great. That was neat.
So, did you find anything different, or anything stick out to you different about geocaching in New Zealand versus what you've been experiencing in Australia?
Oh, it's so different. So in Australia, for instance, yeah, it's so different. It's so much more relaxing in New Zealand than it is Australia.
Okay.
The main reason is everything in Australia can almost kill you. So. So in Australia, you go into a bush, you go for a bushwalk, whatever, through the track, and you got to stamp your feet. You got to make sure that there's no snakes or critters that come out at you.
Right.
That's all done good.
Which we'll talk about in a minute too. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you'll get up to obviously a rocky outcrop or whatever else as well, and obviously there's caches always hidden under rocks or spores.
Right.
In Australia, you always poke it with a stick first. You always get a stick of some sort and poke it with a stick to make sure there's nothing in there and everything's cool. Right. In New Zealand, they don't have anything. They don't have snakes at all.
That's
no
awesome.
Snakes in New Zealand. They don't have ticks. They've got one spider that's a little bit harmful, but that's it. So you can just seriously just stick your arm right in the hole in the crevice and just hunt around that way.
Amazing.
It was great. It was great. It was amazing. It was fantastic. That idea about New Zealand was, it's so much more relaxing.
Now, is that for both islands? Same way for both islands?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, cool. Same for both islands. They don't even have leeches or ticks, for instance, as well. Right. They don't have any of that. So they're really a really secluded sort of country.
That's
and
great.
And then in the South Island, though, South Island is beautiful. It's got a lot more views and a lot more vistas and a lot more mountains.
Okay.
And colder climate there too, so which is really nice. There's always snow-capped mountains around, and it was beautiful. It's fantastic.
Now, did you do any geocaching, urban geocaching? Did you do any towns while you were there? Did you just like any of the major towns in New Zealand? Did you do any geocaching there, or did most of your geocaching all occur in a rural type?
Yeah, no, we did do towns as well, because Auckland, Christchurch, they're the big cities in New Zealand, and we geocached in them. Unfortunately, their town or city sort of caches are very similar to ours, which I'm not sure if you've seen these, but have you seen these?
Yeah,
these little Eclipse tints, the mint tins.
Eclipse tints, Altoid.
Eclipse tints, yeah.
We have Altoids.
Yeah, Altoid, same sort of thing. Yeah, that's all they are in the city these days, and it's sort of, oh wow, you get over them. You're like, come on, give us something new, make something different. But yeah, no, it was all good. Good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the trip out there, and we Slinky Mom and I want to definitely head down that way sometime, and New Zealand, Australia, and see the. She loves looking at the stars, and of course, you have a whole different set of stars at night than we do. So you get the Southern Cross, and you get a lot of other constellations at night that would be great to see. We don't get to see them being in the northern hemisphere. Definitely. Well, speaking of, let's talk about one other. We're going to talk about some of the critters that we need to avoid in Australia here in a moment. But you had mentioned the other day, and I love this idea for this geocache, and so I wanted to talk about it because it's such a great idea, yet it's very simple in a sense, but yet it's got so many different ways you can do it. So I want to talk about this just because you and I were talking about it the other day in the pre-show, called Rock, Paper, Scissors. So tell me about this cache. You own this cache.
Yes, it's a cache that I've put out and placed. I actually had a dream about it. So that's what I mean. I always think about geocaching, even in my dreams. So I had a dream about this cache, and when I woke up, I wrote it down straight away. So I thought, I can't forget this.
Right.
I can't forget.
You want to forget it? Yeah.
I didn't want to forget it, so I wrote it down, and it took me about 6 months to find a location for it, and then it took me almost 10 hours straight to place it, like over time. So what it basically is, it's a 4 waypoint multi. And at each waypoint, you've got to make a decision on which path you want to take, whether you take rock, paper, or scissors.
Right.
So at waypoint 1, there's 3 choices: rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
Which it means there's 3 more waypoints, but you choose one. At that waypoint, you choose rock, paper, scissors. At the next waypoint, rock, paper, scissors, and then the last waypoint itself, it's either the actual cache or it says wrong path, go back.
But you don't know how far to go back.
No, that's right. You don't know how far to go back. You don't know whether to go back to the beginning, or so you got 3 choices. We got 3 caches at waypoint 2. You got 9 caches at waypoint 3, and then 27 possible GZs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you said, there's so many cool things about this. It definitely is such a great idea. 27 possibles, but like we were talking about before, is that if you wanted to, you could just go swap caches, swap a dummy cache with the real cache, and the whole thing is now a whole new experience.
Well, I have done that once. So I had someone and say, I don't like to delete logs, or people want to. It's their experience. Let it be. But with this one here, I don't want them to sort of let them know exactly what path they took. So on one of the logs, they sort of said what path they took. So in saying that, they gave away the GZ. So I went and then just moved it and swapped it with another one of the possible 27. So you don't know which one it is now.
So if there ever is a time when somebody does give it away, gives another spoiler that gives it away, you can just go swap 2 of them. You're good to go.
Exactly. It's not that hard.
That's such a great idea. I love it.
It's very easy. So I've had one finder done it within 10 or 15 minutes. They did one path, wrong way, go back. Second path from the beginning, found it, all done. 10 minutes. Then I've had others.
Pretty good.
I've had others that do it nearly over 2.5 hours. So.
Well, in theory, if you did all 27, you'd eventually find it. But
one of the gentlemen that did it, Team Canary, his name was, he did them all, and it came out that he had 2 GZs left, and he's like, I've got 2 paths left. That's it. And so he went to one path, and he actually got the cache in his second last path. What he did, being a geocacher, and like we all are, he thought, no, I've got to do that last path just to say that I did them all. So he spent an extra 5 minutes and did the last path as well.
Did the last one as well. That's such a great idea. I'm always looking for. I'm making a note of that, because watch out, East Texas, because I may be doing one just like that, because it's such a great idea. And that's the thing.
I'll send you the GC code as well, so you can look it up and.
GC6, N as in Nancy, K as in kangaroo, 01.
That's the one.
That's awesome. Well, we talked briefly about, because you're talking about the difference between New Zealand and Australia as far as critters go. So I was doing a little bit of research before the show as well. I put a little snippet of Steve Irwin before the iTunes version of the audio, and I didn't know this until I started looking. The 10 most venomous and dangerous snakes in the world, all 10 of them are in Australia.
Yes, actually, there's 21 out of the top 25 deadliest snakes in the world are in Australia.
That's even worse. There's 21 out of 25 of them, not just the top 10.
No, top 10.
Goodness. Amazing. Well, and I watched some of Steve Irwin's video about that, and just the different, and some of these things, I mean, they were pretty well hidden, and he was able to some of them weren't as they're a little more obvious, but around here we have some poisonous snakes, some venomous snakes. The rattler is very, is one far as in Texas we see we might see as more often. We see a lot of non-venomous snakes versus venomous, but at least rattles, so you get sort of a general idea. Whereas I don't know about your snakes down there. I mean, they're crazy. Now, most of them though, they're as much afraid of you as you are of as I am of them. But
even more so. They're the ones that they don't run. Obviously, they don't have legs.
Sure.
But yeah, they slither away pretty quick. But there's one which is our number one.
Yes,
Yeah.
you told me about the one that'll actually. He'll come after you if he feels threatened. Which one?
And he actually lives in Sydney. Like he lives up and down the eastern seaboard of Australia.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's called the eastern brown snake. So yeah, he's the most deadly.
Wow.
Because he'll come after you. He'll look at you and he'll come after you. He won't just run away. And even if he's not cornered, he won't run away. He comes after you. So you got to be careful with him.
That's so terrible. Okay, I'm gonna have nightmares tonight about that eastern brown snake.
Yep, the eastern brown. Google that one up.
Oh my, no, that's good. So when you're not avoiding snakes, you have some really cool spiders down there. I don't guess cool is not the good word for them. You have some really bad spiders down there. So tell me a little about the spiders, and then tell me a little about your recurring spider bite, we'll call it.
Yes.
So tell me.
So we've got a lot of different spiders down here as well, and there's nothing makes you go more ninja than walking into a spider's web in the bush.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. You get all over your face and your glasses and whatever.
Right.
But
a lot of bad dance moves during the spider web.
Yes, you do exactly. But you got the pretty much the worst for us here is the redback, and the reason for it is that's the one it's in everywhere. So there's redbacks in my backyard, for instance. You know what I mean? Redback spiders. They're in guardrails, which is predominantly dark and gloomy, where geocachers like to be need to hide. So if you put your hand in, you touch one, bang, it'll bite you. They don't come after you or anything, but yeah, that's why you always look first or get it with a stick.
Right. Right.
So yeah, but my spider bite. So I got bitten by a spider, or white-tailed spider, it's called.
A white-tailed spider.
And white-tailed spider, and it comes up. So after I didn't feel it bite me because it was at night. And then the next morning I woke up and I had a red circle on my leg like that. And then all of a sudden I had all these blisters coming up around in the middle of the circle.
Ooh.
And I went to the doctor later on. He said, "Oh yeah, it's a white-tailed spider bite. No worries." Gave me some antibiotics for it. Took about a week and it went away. Right. But every 12 months, that bite, like the symptoms come back. So I get the red ring. Then I get all the blisters come up, and I got to go to the doctors every 12 months to get some more antibiotics. So it's like the poison lays dormant for 12 months, and then comes back again.
It comes back.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
Every year, you get a reminder.
Every year
of that
comes
crazy
back.
Spider bite.
Yeah, certainly do. Mind you, I found him and he's dead, so it's all good.
Yes, you wiped him out. Well, that's interesting, though. Very interesting.
Actually, that's one thing about the snakes as well, going back to the snakes there, is that in Australia, you're not allowed to kill snakes.
Oh, okay.
They're actually protected. Yeah,
sure.
They're protected. Okay. They're a protected species. So you're not allowed to kill snakes at all. So, yeah, going back to that, you can't go out there and hunt them down and kill them. So
yeah, something they showed, Steve Irwin showed on one of his videos was apparently some of them will get on the street, and sun themselves on the pavement, and so he actually ran across. He came up to one in his car, got out, talked about it, and then moved it off the road. But he said a lot of people will try to run him over because then they've kind of it's their way around.
Running over a snake in Australia is not a good thing. 9 times out of 10, they won't kill it. What it does is it actually flicks it up into the engine bay of the car, which is nice and warm for the snake, which is what they want. And so then they'll sit inside your engine bay of your car and then slither out one time when you're not not prepared for it. And out from the engine comes a snake. Right.
You park your car in a garage, and all of a sudden you've now got a garage with a snake in
the house.
In your car. So something we talked about earlier in the week that we have, but you don't have, which I know you thought was pretty didn't sound good. Chiggers. We have a lot of chiggers in the southwest part of the country. And chiggers, for people that don't understand it, a chigger is, you can't really see them. They're very, very tiny, and they're bad. They get on your skin, and they'll find their way to a hair follicle, and then that's where they like to camp out, is in that little hair follicle. Man, they itch like you wouldn't believe. So chiggers is really our our one of our big geo nemesises down here, other than wasp and so forth. Do y'all have wasp?
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, we've got
yellow
wasps and
jackets.
bees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes, what'd you call them? Mozzies?
Yeah, we call them mozzies. See, because
Mozzies.
you got to, we mosquitoes is too long a word. So in Australia, we tend to find that we shrink every word back down to where we can. So
I love it.
mosquitoes become mozzies. So yeah,
Right. You don't say good. You don't say good day. You say good day.
it's a g'day. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, mozzies, they're more annoying for me than anyone else. But in saying that though, I've got friends out there who I don't know about the chiggers, but with the mosquitoes, they don't actually bite some people. There's some oil in some skin of people that they don't like, and so they leave them alone.
Sure.
Myself, however, I don't have that oil or whatever. They love me, so I go through, and they'll just come up with a little bump or a little lump after they bite you.
Yeah.
Because all they do is they insert the little nose in, and they get some blood out and feed on your blood, and that's it. But yeah, it just comes up with a itchy bite sort of thing. So that's all. That's all they do.
You're just too sweet of a guy, Craig. That's why they go after the sweet people. So I guess
they do.
I get them all the time too. But apparently, I've heard people will. We usually we'll spray ourselves before we go out. To kind of try to keep the mosquitoes or the chiggers. Spray our legs. Trying to keep them all off of us best we can. In fact, right now is a really good time for geocaching as far as in Texas or Arkansas or different parts of southern part of the states, because we don't have the winter weather that they do up north as much. So really right now is a great time for geocaching because we don't have poison ivy tends to be either dead or starting to become dead for the season. Mosquitoes we usually don't have any mosquitoes this time of year, but no snow. So which is can be a challenge on itself, itself to try to, geocache in the upper parts of the states. So now, do you guys? I guess it depends on what part of the country what part of Australia you're in. Is there? Do your weather change? Do you have any kind of like when it's winter? Like you're coming up on summer, right?
Yes. Yes.
So is summer the best? Would you consider summer the best time to go geocaching in Australia, or do you like winter, or does it really matter?
It doesn't. So it all depends on what type of geocacher you are. So if you like a bit of warmer, then summer's good, but summer could be too hot, depends on where you are. So if you're down the southern end of the country, so say Victoria, Tasmania, summer's quite nice to actually geocache in. Other people like the winter because it's a bit cooler. And in winter, you don't tend to find snakes around. So they go and hibernate. They sort of go off. So some people like winter caching because there's no snakes and stuff. So it's a matter for yourself. In winter as well, obviously, the same as you guys, I dare say that the days are shorter. So some people don't like to get a lot in one particular day. So
sure.
Again, probably spring or autumn, your fall. Right in the middle is where you get a happy medium. So yeah, pretty much the same here.
Right, best times of the year. Cool. Yeah.
Exactly. So today, for instance, it's about 93 Fahrenheit outside today. So that's we're still in sort of spring. So we're not in summer yet.
That's awesome. So. It's about 40 something outside. It's not bad here in Texas, but up north it's like but see right now here in beautiful Texas it's 63 degrees, so not bad.
Yeah that's about 19 Celsius.
Yeah, Boston right now it's 36, so it's the exact opposite up there in the up in the north New England part of the U.S. Well, so now as far as the more of the wet portions of the country where you would run into the wonderful crocodile or alligator. you have crocodiles obviously because the crocodile hunter.
Yeah, that's right. We don't have alligators. Alligators are a punsy version of a crocodile. Alligators, you can handle alligators. Alligators won't come after you or whatever. Crocodiles again come after you. Crocodiles are bigger. Crocodiles are they're meaner. They're very protective. You don't get, they're mostly up in the top end of the country. So right at the top of sort of Queensland, around Cairns, etc. Or even in the Northern Territory sort of area, and also top of Western Australia as well. So they're in the warmer climate area. Okay. Of which I'm actually going to Northern Territory next year now. So
yeah, you got a trip. Tell us quickly a little bit about. You're going to take a pretty good sized trip up that direction next year, right?
Yeah. So next year they're holding the Australian Mega is in the outback, so it's right in the middle in the red centre. So it's near Ayers Rock or Uluru.
Right. I've seen pictures of that. Gorgeous pictures of that. Really great.
It's great out there. But I'm riding. I've got a big motorcycle. I've got a Goldwing, and which is a American bike. I know.
Yeah. A Honda, Honda, right?
Honda Goldwing. Yeah. I'm riding it from Sydney, going through Canberra, out through down into the top end of Victoria, and then South Australia, and then up to the Northern Territory. And then the Mega is being held up there. It's just over, I think it's around 2,000 miles. So.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, that is very cool.
Back of a bike.
On the back. Well, have you ever taken a trip that far before?
Not on the bike, no.
Okay.
Yeah, not on the bike. So I've started to do little trips here and there, overnight trips, just to sort of get my backside used to it. So I'll be right.
That's good. That'll be awesome. Well, make sure you do video the whole way, or maybe not all the way, but video as you go. Let's put it that way, because we'd love to see some videos on that trip. So, well, let's finish up with sharks, and then also tell everybody a little bit about, you actually have a underwater cache that you're planning to eventually put out. Is that right, Craig?
Yes. Yep. Okay. Exactly right. So in and around Australia, again, we've got a lot of sharks. I suppose the deadliest would be the great white. But then we've got things like the bull shark, which is quite bad here. Tiger sharks. You've got a few hammerheads. But then you've got the harmless sharks as well, like the reef sharks or your Port Jackson sharks. Mm-hmm. So I scuba dive as well. I'm a scuba diver. So which awesome. I've padded and played with some Port Jackson sharks and some grey nurses. They're very nice actually. They're quite playful. Right. But yeah, there's no real issues too much here with the amount of people that actually use the water, and compared to the amount of shark attacks that happen is very minimal. Mm-hmm. So compared to the amount of deaths that occur as well is even more minimal. So you're more likely to get sort of, I think it was killed by a vending machine than you are for a shark. Take the vending machine.
Right, yeah.
More people die from vending machines than they do shark bites.
That's awesome. Well, that's true. Those things happen. I mean, people do crazy things. So
exactly. Now, I've been thinking about the underwater, the T5 cache placing out. Mm-hmm. And you can get some. It's going to be have to scuba dive, so it's not going to be unclipped to bring it to the surface. You can do it, so you can unclip it and bring it to the surface. Right. But those ones would have to be like 3 containers, so container in a container in a container. But I'm looking at one that you have to actually stay underwater to sign the logbook underwater. Right. So you're looking into grabbing those. Yeah.
There's a couple ways we talked about in pre-show a little bit about. There's a couple ways it could possibly be done. There's certain like grease pen type things where you could do. I don't know how long that would last though. I don't know. What are some? What are some other ways you could do it? Is like a punch thing? I don't know. How are some ways that you're thinking about having people sign the log when they're underwater? Do you think?
Well, if you go to a scuba dive shop themselves, they've got like it normally goes on your arm, so it's like a plaque, and it comes with the waterproof pen, like it's a pencil, and that's attached to it. So having that just basically under the water in the cache itself, be able to sign the log from there. Work.
Sure.
So, yeah, that would work.
Yeah, because there's like that's right. We talked about how some people they've created those so that people can make notes for whatever needs they need if they're talking to each other and they want to leave each other notes. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and I thought about it too, and that is you'd have to still place it inside a physical container just so you don't have all the water and the currents washing across it all the time. So basically, it'll hold its integrity, but it'll still be just wet. So
sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, appreciate you being on the show tonight. We've had a great time. An hour's passed, and we've got so many things to talk about, but that's going to be it for tonight. Definitely, if you're willing to come back, I'd love to have you back on the show at some point.
Anytime.
Next year. It will be great. And looking forward to, we like to tweet back and forth with each other, and also love seeing your vlog and all your videos. Really enjoyed all the ones you've done. Your GIF, you going to do a GIF next year, you think? You've got to. You're a finalist.
Oh, yeah, have to.
I've got another one I've got in my head, so I've got one I got planned. So I'm going to do another one next year, because even though, many people send them in, don't get picked, still, though, it was just fun to do. It was just enjoyable. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, coming soon. Next week, of course, I mentioned before, we're doing the 8-hour charity podcast fundraiser for St. Jude. So, I just encourage people, if they can. It's from 4 p.m. to midnight. I know that Mr. Sodak, Zach's going to try to watch all 8 hours, but if you don't want to, go to the Geocache Talk website, look at the lineup. If you're interested in a certain hour, please join us for that hour and watch. The video will be on for the full 8 hours. The audio I'm going to break up. I'm going to stop and start the audio each hour, Craig. So what I'm doing is, that way, if anybody wants to listen to the show, the podcast at another time, they don't have to listen to 8 straight hours. They can listen to, and I'm going to send out the podcasts 1 hour at a time. So if people want to do them, at their leisure, and each hour is sort of a different topic too. So, but I encourage people, if you want to come along and listen to an hour, or come back later and watch a different hour as well. But please join us and learn a little bit more about how we're St. Jude's fighting cancer. Some of the exciting things they've done over the years. Some things I didn't even know about as far as their what they've been able to accomplish. We're going to talk briefly about those during the show at different times. And then week after that, I'm having on Keith Petrus. He is the owner of the FTF Geocaching magazine. So I'm going to have on Keith. He just went on this big old trip to Spain. So we're going to talk a little bit about Spain, geocaching, and the magazine. And then in 3 weeks, on December 18th, I nailed down, because it's kind of hard to get this guy nailed down, but Doug McCrae is going to be on the show. He's retired, and he loves to geocache, and he loves to travel. So love when I can to grab Doug and get him on the show. Doug invented Ms. Pac-Man. That's kind of a weird thing to think about, but Ms. Pac-Man was one of the biggest hits as far as video games ever. And so we'll talk a little bit about how that occurred and some about challenge caches. He has a couple of challenge caches in the States that are very interesting. The way he's done it is a little bit different. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're going to talk a little bit about Miss Pac-Man, because we have to. I mean, just a cool story. So anyway, so again, Craig, thank you for being on the show. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Please email me your comments about the show at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Geocache Talk. And for Craig, it's at See My Shell, right?
That's right.
Everything
See My Shell.
Yeah, there you go. So definitely follow Craig. Facebook is facebook.com/Geocache Talk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Both audio and video are on the website if you want to ever watch some of the old shows or listen to some of the old shows too. So don't forget to click on that subscribe button down below so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. So, we'll see you next week at the big podcast of hope. And again, don't just talk about geocaching. Do what Craig does. Get out there and do it. And go geocaching. Cheers.
Well, let's just see my shells then. Gary, I'm over and out.
Woohoo! Woohoo! That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, good
Thanks.
rendition, mate.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Cheers for having me on. Bye.